You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. Okay, y'all. I really... Matter of fact, you know what? Could y'all go ahead and play... I was supposed to do this with another story. Could y'all play the crazy as white people stinger? I think this earns that distinction. Could y'all go ahead and play it? Get it ready for me.
The charcoal grills are allowed.
I'm white. I got you, bro.
Illegally selling water without a permit
on my property.
Whoa!
Hey!
You don't live here. I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, y'all. So, who is this week's contestant? Bill O'Reilly. So, just the other day, of course, last week they had the hearings on Capitol Hill about reparations. Well, Bill O'Reilly, the man who sexually harassed numerous women, had to pay out $32 million in settlements as a result. Bill decided to weigh in on the issue of reparations. Bill O'Reilly sent this tweet out. Please pull it up. Slavery reparations is a far-left favorite because it does a number of things. It reinforces the radical belief that the United States was founded by racist white men who installed a system whereby white guys would run everything and blacks, women, and others would be exploited. Bill, you do know that's actually what the hell happened. You do know when the Constitution was created, and they were writing the Declaration of Independence, and they were writing all them wonderful little everybody created with inalienable rights, all men are created equal. All men are created equal. They were actually not talking about black men. You do know when the laws were put in place that allowed slavery, white folks weren't slaves. You do know that those laws were on the books. You do know that the Supreme Court actually invalidated one of the Civil Rights Act by saying that not only was it wrong for what Congress did, the Supreme Court even ruled that Congress could not even pass a law to stop Jim Crow. You do know all that stuff happened. You are familiar with the Dred Scott decision. You are familiar with Plessy v. Ferguson. I mean, you do know that. I mean, you do know that those same white men had slaves, including the first president, George Washington, including Thomas Jefferson. You do know. I'm just trying to understand. Did you get punched by the trial general manager's GM and suffer concussion, and you somehow forgot those things? I'm just trying to understand exactly what school you went to. Now, y'all, this is the same Bill O'Reilly who actually writes so-called history books, which clearly means that somebody else is writing the books. All he's doing is putting his name on the books. Y'all, this is why people like Bill O'Reilly have no business even having a television show. See, this is the sort of the nonsense that you see that emanates from people like him. And of course, all the folks who follow him on the Fox News, when you listen to Laura Ingraham and listen to Tucker Carlson and all those folks, I mean, literally say stuff and you go, what world are y'all living in? I could not even give you a list of books to somehow prove that what he said is wrong. I mean, I don't have to. I mean, it's kind of there. I mean, it's sort of like right there. The laws are there. I mean, I dare say the biggest member of the KKK would like, David Duke probably would say, damn, Bill, you stupid. I mean, that's how unbelievably asinine Bill O'Reilly is. So, Bill, just do all of us a favor, okay? Take all of the money that you have, that you kept after putting your hands on all these women and, of course, leaving them sexually charged voicemails, the woman who worked for your show. And remember you talking about, what's that shower thing? It's not a, what they call that thing? It's not it's not a pollution. No, it's whatever, it was a loofah. There you go. Bill was talking about what he wanted to do with her with the loofah. Why don't you just go sit your ass in a corner somewhere and just keep all the millions you've earned on radio and at Fox News and stop tweeting, because you clearly are dumb as hell, and just allow us to deal with the stupidity of the people who followed you. I mean, just stop, please, for the sake of people with brains. And in fact, Bill, you're embarrassing white people. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody white going, damn, can we trade him in the lottery? Can we trade him in? Can we pick up Clarence Thomas for Bill O'Reilly? I'm just saying. Because Clarence Thomas, he ain't got a problem with black people getting kicked off juries. I don't know what in the hell to make of these folks this week. I really don't get it. When y'all had your next conservative convention, what you gonna do, Malik, when Bill and Clarence show up?
Bill does not need to show up at all. What Bill said is ridiculous. It aligns with no history that we know of here in the United States at all. And this is one of those situations where, in this case, he's a conservative, saying things to preach to a choir who should be just silent on things that really, when we're talking about race, he literally makes no sense in what he's saying. To say that this country was not founded by racist people, and
Jason, you teach.
We weren't even full people in the Constitution.
Right. I mean, not even. I mean,
so how does that work?
Women couldn't vote until 1920.
No, white women couldn't vote.
Yeah, white women. The thing is, I've actually found this tweet to be very alarming. I was like, it was funny at first, and then I was like, yo, this is alarming. Because as you said, he's got all these books, Killing Lincoln, killing this one, killing Thomas Jefferson. He has all these books, and people consume them thinking they're getting real history. You have
Dinesh D'Souza, who literally out there, Jason, Teresa, who is tweeting constantly saying Republicans never owned slaves. And Kevin Cruz, a white historian, is dropping the receipts, and they're like, no, it didn't happen. I mean, and what they're doing, Teresa, they are literally creating this alternative universe, these alternative facts. And you got white folks running around retweeting them and repeating it, and because they act as if
Dinesh D'Souza won't respond to my tweets.
I mean, it's just, that to me is how crazy it is, because these people actually going, yeah, say it, Dinesh. And I'm like, y'all, he's a dumbass.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
When I first saw that tweet, the two words that stood out to me was radical belief, because when you even mention the word radical, it means extreme or something drastic. So for Bill O'Reilly not to have any concertion about what's real and what actually happened, and for it to be a far left decision, for Democrats to stand on, is very alarming, especially for someone who has, such a huge profile of followers, who has spoken at so many institutions and organizations post his release. And it just really, it really does come down to what you said, Roland, as in the alternative history, and what does that history that, people are trying to change or are not trying to bring up? And what is this new history? So it's a lot of questions here. And I hope, this was a learning experience, and I hope we're keeping all these tweets.
Learning a damn
thing. Because these people can't be forgotten. We can't not mention, these influential individuals and celebrities who, have an impact on a larger society. Twitter should have been sending him an actual, suspension button for his inaccuracy and his ignorance on history.
And let me say this here. And first of all, this was the second tweet. This is even more laughable. It also suggests that personal responsibility does not count when the legacy of slavery dropped a curtain of oppression on the black race, and there's no recovering from that. The radical left says our society remains unjust to this day. Forget personal responsibility, Lord, y'all. But let me say this here. let me go ahead and say this here. There are some people who are watching me right now, and people who are likely tweeting, you're posting on Facebook and Periscope and YouTube, and you're likely saying, Roland, you're giving these people too much attention. And then because y'all tell me the same thing when I smack down Candace Owens. Here's why. Bill O'Reilly has 3 million Twitter followers. And I keep telling y'all, this is why I don't allow lies to be stated on this show, and I can't let it go by. Because if somebody is watching and they go, Roland didn't say nothing, so clearly what so-and-so said must be true. This is why you have to push back. Because here's the deal. Let me be real clear with y'all. Mainstream media allowed Donald Trump to lie for decades. To lie about his wealth, to lie about his deal making, to lie about everything. What happened? Where did he end up? He became president of the United States. See, this is what happens when you don't push back on liars. Because then they can lie and people go, well, no one said anything. It must not be true. He must be true. It must be correct. No, that can't happen. And so in this show, we are always going to call out the liars. That's why I use hashtag Trump Lives Matter. That's why when Candace Owens started lying, running her mouth, and when Charlie Kirk started tweeting some nonsense and lying, I'm going to call him out every time, because Donald Trump is the example of what happens when you allow liars to gain a foothold. And then the lie about them being successful and rich and brilliant and smart and the greatest deal maker, then idiots fall for it and vote for fools like that for president. Hashtag we tried to tell you. All right, folks, back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, they're back. MarijuanaStock.org has another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you know they raised a lot of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. Folks, many of you missed it, but now is a chance for you to participate in this new investment opportunity that is as good, if not even better, than the last one. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the United States and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill recently passed in Congress, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants, and this makes for an incredible investment opportunity. That's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is very simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. You can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. Like I said, you don't want to miss out. Folks, you can go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and get in the game now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.